Part 1. Born of Faith, Taken by Death. In the quiet, dusty village of Masasa, hidden beneath hills that watch generations come and go, lived an old woman known as Buya Vanyasha. Her name wasn't always so. She once had a name of her own, Minokatenda, but the villagers now called her by her granddaughter's name. For in this world, you are remembered by who you leave behind. She had married at 19, filled with hope and dreams like any young bride. But those dreams faded with each silent birth, 5 stillborns, 5 tiny graves. Her womb became a graveyard. People whispered. She cried in silence. But then, in the trembling years of middle age, her miracle came. A baby girl, full of life and lungs and laughter. She named her Nokatenda, Faith, for that was all she had left. Noku, as she was lovingly called, was beautiful, so beautiful it made the sun seem dull. Big, curious eyes, skin like honeyed clay, hair like river waves, but perhaps too much love spoils the flower. Her father, proud and protective, gave her everything. Her mother, grateful and weary, could not discipline her, and so Noku grew wild. She dropped out of school, chasing older boys and the fast life. At 18, she became pregnant. Her father died that same year, not from sickness, but from heartbreak, people said. Just 2 years later, she became pregnant again, and this time, she died delivering the baby. The village wept. She was barely 20. Her son Tadiwa, now 2, held his grandmother's skirt while she cradled the newborn girl named Nyasha. The pain almost killed her too, a widow, childless, but not alone. 2 small children stared at her with her daughter's eyes. For the first few years, the village helped. Bags of meal, soap, old clothes. Buya Vanyasha sold firewood and tomatoes. Her knees cracked with every step, but she refused to complain. The children were all she had. But villagers are only generous when they have something to give. Over time, sympathy turned into whispers. She's still alive. Those kids will suffer. She should take them to social welfare. Then one day, everything changed. It began with a ping on her battered EcoCash phone. A deposit of $100 USD. No name. No message. She stared in confusion. Maybe a mistake. But 2 days later, another $100. Then another. Then another. She waited for someone to call, demanding it back. No one did. Every second day, $100 USD arrived. She used it wisely. She fed the children, bought uniforms, paid school fees, bought goats. The house got a new roof. Even when villagers asked, "Who is sending you money?" she would only say, "Wari Vanaziva, God knows." But after 5 years, that mystery came walking straight to her door. Please like, share, and comment. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel. It was a sunny afternoon in Masasa, the kind where chickens scratched near the doorstep and children's laughter filled the dusty air. Buya Vanyasha sat beneath her big mango tree with Tadiwa and Nyasha, sharing sadza and dried vegetables. The kids were growing fast. Nyasha, now 5, was full of questions. Tadiwa, 7, quiet like his mother had been in her younger days. Suddenly, the quiet was shattered by the sound of a large engine. A white haulage truck pulled up just outside their fence. The village stood still. Children paused mid-play. Women peered through windows. Visitors were rare in Masasa, especially ones who arrived in such style. The door opened, and out stepped a middle-aged man, clean-shaven, well-dressed, with a confident walk. He approached the gate and greeted them politely before asking, "Is this the home of Nokatenda Mavunga?" Buya Vanyasha froze. "I'm sorry," she asked, thinking she had misheard. The man smiled warmly. "Nokatenda. I'm looking for her. I'm Mr. Gudo. She gave me this address some weeks ago, though she didn't want me to come. But we argued, and I told her I'd had enough secrets. I needed to meet her family." You say you know Nokatenda," she whispered. The plate slipped from Buya's hands and shattered. "Yes, your daughter. Isn't she slim, tall, gap between her teeth, loves humming to herself when she's nervous?" "That's her, right," he replied confidently. Buya Vanyasha stared, wide-eyed. The world tilted. The last thing she saw was her grandkids' terrified faces before she collapsed. Villagers came rushing, carrying water, whispering prayers. "She's possessed," one shouted. "No, just fainted," said another. Eventually, Buya Vanyasha woke up, shaken. Mr. Gudo sat by her side, confused but concerned. "What did you say your name was?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Gudo. I met Nokatenda 3 years ago, along Masbingo Road just after Buma shops. I drive goods from South Africa to Harare. That night, I saw a tall young lady standing alone by the roadside. She said she was tired of prostituting herself and wanted a real relationship. We talked. We connected. I fell in love." Buya Vanyasha was silent. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. She refused to cross the border, said she had responsibilities. "But we'd meet whenever I came through Zimbabwe. Always at night. She always made an excuse to leave by morning. I never thought much of it. I loved her, still do." "Did she ever tell you she was dead?" He laughed softly. "Dead? What kind of question is that?" She rose slowly and pointed toward the graveyard beyond the trees. "Come with me." Together, with the villagers following behind like shadows, they walked to the old graveyard. There, half covered in moss, stood the tombstone. 2001 to 2020. "Beloved daughter, mother, and flower of faith, Nokatenda Mavunga." Mr. Gudo dropped to his knees. "This is a joke," he whispered. She was just texting."
Part 3. Love Beyond the Grave. The sun had begun to set, casting long shadows over the village of Masasa. The news of Mr. Gudo's encounter with the spirit of Nokatenda spread like fire through dry grass. People gathered at Buya Vanyasha's homestead in silence and disbelief. Some prayed, some feared, others just watched. Inside the house, Buya Vanyasha sat on her reed mat, the children curled up beside her. Across from her sat Mr. Gudo, still pale, his hands trembling. "She told me she had 2 children," he said softly, glancing at Tadiwa and Nyasha. "Said they lived with her mother. She described this yard, this tree, even the curtain color in this room." Buya Vanyasha nodded slowly. "You were in love with a ghost, Mwanawangu, but not just any ghost. Nokatenda's spirit stayed because her soul couldn't rest knowing I was alone, knowing her children might suffer." "But why me?" he asked. "Why choose me?" "She saw your heart," Buya Vanyasha said. "Even in death, spirits choose those who carry light." Then, in a voice both broken and strong, she said, "In her culture, when a spirit ties itself to the living, it must be released, or else you will never be free." The elders were called. A ceremony was prepared. According to Shona tradition, Mr. Gudo would have to perform the ghost marriage kapara mudzamu to honor Nokatenda's spirit and officially marry her at the grave. The day of the ritual was sacred. Mr. Gudo stood before the tombstone in white cloth, surrounded by elders, holding snuff and traditional beer. He wept as he poured libations onto the soil and spoke his vows. "I did not know you were gone, Noku, but I love you, and I will honor you even now." A white hen was released, a symbol of peace. The wine stirred through the trees, as if the spirit of Nokatenda herself was passing through one last time. That night, Buya Vanyasha dreamed of her daughter for the first time in 5 years. Noku stood in the moonlight, smiling, her arms open wide. "Thank you, Amani," she whispered. "Now I can rest." 2 months later, the truck returned. But this time, it wasn't just a visit. Mr. Gudo had come to stay. He moved into a small house he built next to Buya Vanyasha's. He legally adopted Tadiwa and Nyasha and began calling them his own. Every morning he walked them to school. Every weekend they drove to town. He became a son to Buya Vanyasha, cutting firewood, fixing the roof, buying her reading glasses. People stopped whispering. They started respecting. And every 2 days, just like before, $100 USD still came into her eco cash, until one day, it stopped. No one panicked. No one worried. Because by then, the children were cared for. The home was full again. And Faith, even from the other side of the veil, had kept her promise. The end. Please do not forget to like, share, and comment.